All right, good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing? I see all the good chatting happening in the chat.
Good morning.
Morning. I'm Katie. I am the ITC at Woodbridge High School, and with me is...
Hi, I'm Biz. I'm the ITC at Fredlin, actually at Fredlin right now. It is very hot in here.
Yeah, apparently they haven't had the air going all summer. Per usual teacher work week. Biz, you just had to go back to get the real vibe.
Yeah, and I have to tell you that this ventilation is, indicative of our current situation. So yeah, we're really happy to present to you today. This is a topic both of us think is just so much fun and is going to be so useful for you all year.
Yeah, agreed. So I'm going to be going over embedding the first half of the session, and then I'll pass it off to Biz, who will be going over LTIs. The first half of the session, Biz will be moderating the chat. So if you have questions, please put them in the chat. This is being recorded and it will be posted to the classroom after. So she'll moderate the chat while I present, and then she and I will switch places and I'll moderate the chat as she presents the second half. So hopefully you got a chance to watch those two videos that we had in the classroom posted. If not, you can go look at them later, but they were just a little bit of an introduction to what is an LTI and what is an embed. So I'll get started with that. All right, so this was the embedding video. I'm not going to play it now, but what I really want to highlight is this symbol here, the greater than less sign and a slash. That lets you know that there is an embed code for that tool. So that is something that we want to keep your eye out for when you are thinking, oh, is this something I can embed, or how easy would this be to embed? The reasons that we want to embed material is, especially for those students with executive functioning, putting something directly on the Canvas page makes there be less places for them to have to go. So, yes, sometimes the link is nice and they can click out of it and go to another website to do something. But if we can put that all within Canvas, it's way powerful, especially for those students to not have to manage lots of places. So before we get started, any general questions about embedding, Biz? Anything people are wanting to know?
Sorry, I'm muted. No, you are good. Everybody's just happy to be here and saying hello.
All right, great. So I'm going to get started showing you a few examples of some embeds and having you experience them. So for the best experience today, we would like you to also have this course open if you can. I'll put the link to it in the chat if you closed it. But we will be posting things, assignments, if you want to call them that, or pages into the course, and we're going to tell you to refresh your page, and then you will be able to do that assignment. Okay, just to kind of get the experience of some of these embedded tools. So the first tool that we're going to show you is Quizlet. Quizlet is a great tool for vocabulary review or even identifying things on a diagram. So I'm going to open this one, which was actually made by a science teacher in our district. It's a cosmology. I used to teach that. I was a science teacher. And it's the diagram of the stars in the night sky, their luminosity, and their temperature. So it's a very common diagram that we use in earth science, general earth science class. The cool thing about Quizlet is that it provides you the embed code. Some tools do not give you an embed code, and it's a little trickier. And we'll show you that down the line, but I'm going to show you first 3 tools that give you the embed code, easy peasy, pop them into your class. Quizlet is the first one. So it's just taking a second to load. So you would make your Quizlet activity, and below your Quizlet activity, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Oh yeah. Zoom out, let's see. All right. See if that makes my computer's like, you have too many tabs, you're recording and you're presenting. This is a lot. All right, so that should be better. All right, here we go. So below my Quizlet activity, there are 3 dots, and I'm just going to click on those dots, and a menu will open up.
Sorry, I can't see anything.
Is my screen being shared, Biz?
Yeah, your screen is shared. I can see
Okay.
I can see the 3 dots in the menu that opened.
All right, great. So when you click those three dots, you will see that greater than, less than sign and a word that says embed. So this tool makes it very easy for you to embed this content. So I'm just going to click on that, and it will actually, Quizlet actually gives you a choice. Do you want to give the student a matching activity, or do you want to give them a learning activity? You can pick which one. I like the matching activity. And all you have to do is click this button that says copy HTML. Pretty easy. Then you're going to go to your Canvas course. And you are going to, let's see, this is my embed page. You are going to click edit. So you can do this on any page, you can do this on an assignment, anywhere you have that rich content editor box, you can put something and embed it. It usually won't take this long if you're not presenting and doing 10 other things on your computer. But, you know, here we are. All right. So the rich content editor box, that's where you're going to do all your typing. Now you don't just paste this code in the box. If I did that, I would just see the code and the students would just see the code, and it's not embedding. You have to go to the back side. If any of you guys, I'm a late 1999s kid. That's when I was a teenager, and we all had, you know, our GeoCities site. And we got to know how to do HTML coding a little bit, just making colors and flashing banners. So this, if you are my generation, if you're almost 40, you might feel this vibe, okay? So you have to go to the back side of your Canvas page, which again, you're gonna look for that embed code symbol right down here in the right corner. It says switch to raw HTML editor. So I'm gonna click on that. And I'm gonna go down here and I am going to paste that code that I got. So let's see, paste it. And then when I go back to the front side, I just click the little raw button again, and it takes me back to the front side.
Your screen froze and all we see is there it goes.
I think, Leanne, I think it may just be you and your connection. So, yeah.
No, I think it's everyone's because I can't see it either.
Oh, okay.
I'm seeing the same issue on and off. It's back up now, but at times it freezes. But I do, it could be me from my side personally.
All right, well, we'll just take a little patience.
Yeah, it's just a little delay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you can see that now I have my Quizlet game right here. And when I say save, it will take up further the rest of the screen. So the code there is what's called responsive code. So it will take up the width of the screen based on the device, which is nice. So it's still loading. You're not seeing anything yet. All right, so if I scroll down, then I have actually two Quizlet games here, the one that I just put in and one that I had before. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to publish this page. What I'd like you guys to do now is refresh your course page and go play these Quizlets. So you're gonna look for the page that says how to embed Quizlet. So go to your course, refresh the page, and try and look at and play these. Yeah, Jessica, I'll show it again in another tool. So I'll be showing it 3 different times. So either you'll catch it then or in the recording. So you really just have to copy and then paste it onto the back side.
Okay, I'm sorry, Pam here. I'm not understanding because you have control of our screen. How can we get to our page?
You may have to go up to the top of your screen and leave full screen. I don't actually have control of your screen. It's just when it goes into present mode, it takes up the full screen. So you may need to go up to your screen and leave full screen mode. Yeah, go ahead and play the Quizlet, Sharon.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yep, this will all stay in the module, Leanne. So this will just give you an idea of like kind of the interactive. This would be an informative assessment. This would not be something you grade, but this would just be some reinforcing activity you can provide students right here in the Canvas page to practice vocabulary or to identify a graphic. Any other thoughts on this or things you want to add in, Biz, about Quizlet? You like it a lot, right?
Yeah, I love it. Or I didn't realize when the first time I tried to embed from it, I didn't realize how many options I would have. So I think it's fantastic. Definitely an easy one to throw into a page for quick vocabulary review.
Yeah, and the Quizlet will be put wherever you put that code. So if you have text above the code and text below the code, the Quizlet would be in the middle of a page. Yeah, you would need to log in to the Quizlet to have student scores. But like I said, this isn't an official, well, it is a tool that actually is approved, but I would just use it more as an informative. So you've not used it before. So for instance, I start this game. I'm going to do the first one. It's a dragging thing. So you just drag, not the picture, but you drag the tool. Oh, you click both. Let's see, like that. So here I crop, cloning stamp tool. So it's just you click one, the word, and you click it on the image. And then that's how you do it. So again, this is just like a vocab or a conceptual reinforcement activity. This wouldn't actually be something I would grade, but, but yeah, it's definitely just, you can see it now, your page is interactive. It's not just, you know, the kid's not just reading something. I'm sorry, Aliana. Maybe next time. So yeah, for flashcards, you would embed that learn model. So the learn would be those flashcards. So back in the Quizlet, I had the choice, remember, of the embed code being matching or learning. So the learning would be those flashcards. I will be getting to some that do not easily embed, yes.
Can I offer just a quick word of encouragement to anybody who just felt like that was a lot? If you've never used Quizlet, don't feel like you absolutely have to use Quizlet in order to embed content that's meaningful to your students. Katie and I are going to demo a lot of different tools today. We just want to give you a range of things to choose from. You certainly shouldn't feel like you need to master Quizlet and Nearpod and Flipgrid and everything today if you haven't tried those before.
We just want to give you a taste of the possibilities. And you'll notice on that page, the Quizlet page, that there are, the page where you're actually doing the Quizlet, that I have step-by-step instructions for you to do this. So it has step 1, create your Quizlet. Step 2, within your Quizlet, open the more button, and I have little screenshots showing you exactly where you'll get that code, and then where you would paste it. So the steps are all on each of these pages for you. So for what would this look like from student view? You would actually have to go into your Quizlet account to look at this. So embeds are not connected to actually Canvas at all. You've just kind of put the website on the page. There's no actually connection for embedding between Canvas and Quizlet or Canvas and the other tools that I'm going to show you. The things that will connect to Canvas are what Biz will show you, the LTI tools. Would you be able to allow this, share this share this class with other friends? Yeah, you can totally, if you just copy this page and I sent it to a colleague, the embed would be there and their class could do that as well. Again, you would have to go into your account to give them any data, but if anyone could do those. Again, if it's just an informative activity, you don't really need that data necessarily. You're just providing students an opportunity to practice before you get to like a real assessment, like some type of quiz. Yeah. All right, so again, this is just the first tool of many. I'm going to move on to the next tool. Before I do Biz, are there any burning questions that I should cover?
They just started coming in quite a flood. I think I can handle them in the chat while you start going on to the next portion.
Okay, great. So the next thing that I'm going to show you is Nearpod. So this would be Nearpod if your school does not have an account. So to be very clear, your school does not have an account, but you as the teacher have paid for the teacher account. So this would not work for a free account. This would work for a teacher paid account. But I do think that I heard that Nearpod is giving this feature away in the free account through October. So even if you have a free account, you may be able to do this. So you would want to embed a Nearpod activity, a self-paced Nearpod. So a live Nearpod, you would not do this, okay? You would just give the kid a link to a Nearpod and the code, and they would do it on another screen while you're doing a Zoom lesson. This would be for a self-paced. And again, if your school has an account, you will be doing the LTI that Biz will show you later in the session. So if you have a school account, you can kind of just sit back. This is for those people using free accounts that don't have school accounts. So if you have the feature of student self-paced, you'll know it that you will see this button that says self-paced right here when you're over one of your lessons in Nearpod. And we're not going to go into making a Nearpod lesson today. That's another PD that you can go to. We're just showing you the embed option. So you would select student self-paced. And it's really easy. Again, you'll see that embed code right here. You'll see it at the bottom of the screen. You can set when that's a due date. You'll click embed. And I recommend making the code large so that it takes up most of the screen. So again, you'll embed, select large, and then click copy. That will get the code copied. Now you're going to go to Canvas and you're going to paste it on the page. Is everyone ready for that step? All right. All right, so we're going to go over to Canvas. To put that on the page, we click edit. We're going to edit whatever page we want to put it on. Okay, and now we're going to embed the embed code. Remember, we have to go to that back side of the rich content editor. So once it loads, we'll do that. I know that I'm not on the back side right now because I have this toolbar here. This toolbar means I'm on the front side. If I was to paste this code right now, I'm going to do that. I would just see the code on the page, okay? That's not going to let the kids see it. So I need to delete this. And I need to put it on the back side. So I need to go down into that right corner, that rich content editor, go to the raw side. I know I'm there because that toolbar is now gone. See the toolbar is gone? And I'm going to now paste that code. I just copy paste it. Now when I go back to the front side, okay, I can see that that Nearpod is now embedded here. Okay, oh, I copied. Maybe I didn't press copy. That's great. Copy, copy, copy. It still had my QR, my Quizlet code. All right, let me go back down again. So I'm gonna click that. I'm gonna replace that code. Okay, now that's the Nearpod. Okay. All right, and I can see that that Nearpod is now embedded on the screen. Right there it is. All right, and so when I publish this page, the student would be able to do this self-paced lesson right on the screen. You would not get the data into Canvas. Again, you have to go into your Nearpod account to do the grading and get the data for this. Embedding tools, you always have to go back to the tool to get the data, okay? Then I'm going to go back and I'm just gonna say cancel. And now I'm going to publish this page and it has a Nearpod on it. So I am going to publish it so that you can get the experience of a student doing one of these Nearpods embedded onto the page. So 1 second and let me publish it. If you click too fast like I will, you open the immersive reader every time. All right, so now it's published. You should be able to refresh your page and you'll see a page that will say how to embed in Nearpod, and then we even put for free Nearpod, just so you know that this is not for a school account. This is just if you have the free teacher account. I hit cancel as I went back because I actually didn't want to put that Nearpod on this page. I already had one down below. So that's the one I wanted you to look at, not the one that I was pretending to put in, just modeling how it would go. You would normally just say save or save and publish. All right, so if everyone's refreshed and go into that Nearpod, You can then see the experience of what it's like to just do that self-paced one right there on the screen. Biz, do we have any questions about that?
Yes. Can you just talk about where you put the embed code? Like, how do you know where to put the embed code when you're pasting it in, especially if you've already got text in the box?
If you already got text in the box, you can actually see that text in the code, and you would just have to kind of read through it. I always like to put a break or, put a hard return in before, if I'm putting it in the middle of the page. That way it's easier to see where in the code I want to put it.
And I gave my opinion on this, but I'm curious about yours. If you are giving a Nearpod as an embedded assignment to students, would you put it in a page or would you put it in an assignment?
I think if it's a graded assignment, I would put it in a page, or I put it in an assignment. But if it's not a grade assignment, I would put it in a page.
And then what would you ask students to submit for their assignment? I suggested like having your assignment be text entry, and they would just submit, I completed this assignment, or something like that. Yeah,
that's what I've been doing. I would do have them complete a text entry with just type the word complete in the box. So you can see here in the code that I can see that stuff that I had typed on the other page. So it says, note this method, if your school does not have a premium account. I can read all the text. And so I can decide, I wanted it. I can see here's step 4. I can see here's the return to the Canvas page. So I can see the text that I wrote, but I just see before all the text that I wrote, like the code that is included that gives the font size and things like that. So I would look for that text, and I would just, if I wanted it to be up in here after this step, I would just put enter, and then I would just paste that code and it would be there. So you can see the content of your page on the back side. Does that help, Biz, you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good answer.
All right. Any other questions about the Nearpod free account version?
There were some questions in the chat just about, well, what if we have a paid account? Should we do this? The answer is no. If your school has paid for an account, not you, but your whole school has, that's what I'm going to show you is how you will do it with an LTI connection.
And that's much nicer because that will connect to SpeedGrader, and it gives you an actual report for each individual student. If you've been a Nearpod user for a while, you know that usually when you do a session, you get a session report, and it has all of the answers and responses from every student on one report. So that's what you get if you have the free account. But if you have the LTI, which Biz will show you, you'll actually get a separate report for each student in the SpeedGrader, and you can then easily put their total grade into the SpeedGrader. It's very nice. So $3,500 for a school account if your school is looking to do that. We can tell you the Nearpod rep you should get in touch with. So, or your ITC can.
Worth every penny.
Totally worth it.
And no one's paying us to say that.
No, we are not paid by Nearpod, believe me. Yeah. All right.
I say go on to the next thing.
Okay. All right. The next one that I want to show you is Flipgrid. Now, you can do Flipgrid as an LTI. So Biz will be showing you that. And again, it puts each student's video in the SpeedGrader. But sometimes you just want to do a Flipgrid that's more informal, like a get to know you activity where it may not be a graded assignment. And you can just embed a whole grid onto your page, and it's very easy. So you're always going to look for embed codes either in where there's more options or sharing options. So here I just click share. And here's that little embed code button. So I just have to click it, and now my embed code is copied, and then I would go to the page and paste it. So it's very easy to get that embed coded Flipgrid. It's very direct. So I am going to just publish this Flipgrid page. That way you can see what that looks like. So go ahead and refresh your course, and you'll see the Flipgrid embed. And again, I have the steps listed there as to how you would do it. This is a Flipgrid that we made, or if you just have a question, it's after hours and you want to ask an ITC, you can come record your response right here, and we will take your questions. So you can see this is a better use. Like if you wanted to have a help grid for all of your students, it's asking questions about an assignment. That's not something you may necessarily need to have in SpeedGrader. So you could just embed your grid this way and students could ask each other questions about assignments. Other ideas for how you might use this embedded, Biz?
I love the idea of having like a central staff page where people are introducing themselves, using it as a communication tool just to communicate with your students, and hosting like small videos is great, even if they are nervous to contribute. I think a great way for you to get used to the tool is to just play with it yourself.
And Catherine is asking about how students would join. It totally depends on how you set up your Flipgrid. I would, yes, recommend them to, when you set up your grid, require them to log in with a Microsoft account. How did I add the share graphic within that page? I just uploaded an image. So I took an image, a screenshot of that little button, and I just uploaded it to the page as an image. So I just added, yeah. And Biz will be going over the SpeedGrader Flipgrid connection later. But so hopefully you can see that, yes, you can just embed a Flipgrid onto a page, and this would be for your more informal uses of Flipgrid. All right. The next tool that I'm going to show you is very popular, quizzes. It's like another type of Kahoot game. So this would be just an informal game for students to respond or just practice their knowledge before maybe getting to a real quiz. Now, quizzes does not give you an embed code. So this is the first tool I'm going to show you where you kind of have to use a code that I'm going to provide you and combine it with the sharing code they give you. So I'm going to actually first show you here on the directions page. Whenever you see this thing that says iframe, an iframe is an embed code, okay? So I've actually come up with this embed code for you, so you don't have to go to an embed code generator and try and make one. What you're going to do is you're going to copy this whole code, and then you're going to replace where it's highlighted and says share link with the quizzes link. So I would copy this, and then I'm going to go and edit my page and put one in. And I have about 50 other tools that I have these how-to pages for, and we'll make all of those go live later today after the session. We didn't want to overwhelm you with like a whole list of options because there are a lot, but we'll make those pages and those resources available because we cover a lot of tools. So many, yes. All right, so I'm on the code page, and now I'm going to take that code that I put in, that I copied. Okay, and you'll see, and I have that share link here still right there. I need to replace that with my quizzes link. So I go to quizzes, and I'm going to go to the quiz that I want to share. I need to assign it as homework because we're not going to play it live. Live, I would just give the kids the link in the Zoom. This is going to be, I'm going to want to embed it, so I need to make it an assignment, a homework. I can give it a due date. I can still do all that. And I can continue. All right, and now I'm going to get that share link. So share link, I'm just going to click copy the link. Okay, so I got that link from quizzes. Now I'm going to go put it in that embed code. So I go back, and where I have share the link here. That link needs to go in between the quotations. You keep the quotation marks. Do not delete those. Do not delete the quotation marks. And I just replace it, and now that code is in there. Then when I save it, okay, I will have that quizzes at the bottom of my page, and it will look like this. I actually have two of them now because I put both. I have one earlier and now. So the kids can start the game right on the page and play the game right in the screen. Are the width and the height necessary for use? Yes. So they determine how wide and how tall this embedded image is. So you can tweak those a little bit if you want. Pause this. You can tweak those a little bit if you want. If you think, oh, the dimensions aren't great, that's definitely something you can tweak. but that is how you would embed. All right, so I've published this page now. Go ahead, refresh your course and experience the embedded quizzes. It doesn't matter where in the page you embed that code. It can be the beginning, the middle, or the end. It's just your preference. For what I've done here, I wanted the directions to be first to show you and then have the experience at the bottom. The generic iframe is not responsive. So to make it responsive, I could put, well, I have the width of 250. That is the responsive part. So if you do pixels, it's not responsive. If you do percentages, it is responsive. So you can just play and tweak those codes if you want. That's definitely something you can do. Responsive means that it will change widths or heights depending on the device and the screen. So if I had 100%, it would be wide. If I had as wide as the page, if I had 90%, it would take up 90% of the page, 80%, 50%. This course will be available to you indefinitely. Yeah, I do. I just highlighted over the share with link and then pasted and overwrote it, but you can delete if you want first and then paste, whatever way. Just make sure you keep those quotation marks. That's very important. The quotation marks are not part of the thing you're replacing. Yes, you can use an embed code with Padlet too. Yep, definitely. And that is one of the examples we have and we'll provide to you later. We're going to make all of those go live after the session so you don't get so entranced looking at all your options that you don't listen to Biz, because there's like 50 options. Padlet is a free tool, and some schools have a backpack account and some schools do not. So that would just be something you want to get in touch with your school. It's $1,400 for a school account. And that means every teacher can have unlimited boards, which can be pretty nice. All right, so hopefully you've embedded or experienced now quizzes and you think that's great. All right, this is for my math teachers out there, Desmos calculator. The Desmos calculator, I went ahead and made an iframe. So you would just need to copy this code that I've provided you and you would need to paste it on the page and you would then have this Desmos calculator right here in the student screen. You can see that they can do all of the calculations right here. So anywhere you can paste an embed code, you can put a Desmos calculator. Okay. Any questions, Biz, that I should talk about?
Yeah, a couple people said they noticed a Canvas button in Quizlet or quizzes. Do you know anything about that?
Oh yeah, it's just a link. It's kind of fake. Yeah. It's not anything special, I know.
Okay, yeah, so the other wise people just like Desmos. They're happy with that, so good job.
Okay, cool. And then the last thing is the Desmos teacher activities. So if you're someone who does those, this is very similar to that quizzes where I've given you a code, but you have to replace a part of it with something. And what you're replacing it with is that class code you would give a student. So that when it's on the screen for them, that code is already there and they just have to press join. So if you're a teacher that's used Desmos teacher activities before, this embed code is for you, and I will publish that. There are lots of other examples I can do with embedding, but we are already 35 minutes in, and I want to give Biz a chunk of time because LTIs are kind of more of a monster. But I will be glad to stay at the end, and if there's any particular embeds you'd like to talk about at that point, I'll be glad to go over them. That will be like the extra bonus end of section. So I will stop sharing my screen and I will move it on to Biz.
All right, Katie, if we have time at the end, just some requests were IXL. I don't know if you've played with that at all.
It just, I don't think it embeds.
Okay.
I'll look to see if it's on my list. It's not on my list, yeah.
There's a question about PowerPoint as well.
So PowerPoint, yeah. We have experienced that embedding PowerPoint is not work on students on mobile devices. So just keep that in mind that we're trying to make everything accessible. You would still need to, and in all of these situations, I should truly add, whenever you embed something above the embed, you want to put a link directly to that item. because you want to make it accessible. So for that student that is on a mobile device or is using a screen reader, can go directly to the page and view it. Yes, Google Slides embeds beautifully, and I will be posting when I post all of the, I'll just show you guys all the how-to list. Oh, I'm not sharing anymore, am I? Let's see, share. So you'll see a huge list of embedding examples on my screen. So you will have lots of things, and if there's something you don't find, just leave it. We have a little follow-up discussion questions that will be at the top of your module at the end. Leave it, and if we can develop it, we will.
I'm sorry, Katie, you said about adding a link. Could you repeat that?
I don't know what part you were talking about.
You were saying that you had to put a link in to assist the student to.
Oh, put the, like, so that link that you copy from the tool, like the link I copy from quizzes, you would need to put that directly above the embed code as well for accessibility. All right, so we're gonna go to Biz and I'm gonna be moderating, and we do want to say this at this point in the session. At the end of the session, there will be a Google form for attendance. That is the only way we know to take your attendance. So if you do not complete that Google form, we don't want you emailing us in 5 days that you're very sad that you didn't get marked attended. So please complete the Google form. Thank you. All right, Biz, it's all yours.
Okay, sorry. I'm trying to still finish up answering some of these questions because they're still coming in, but I'm going to hand that off to you, Katie. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And it looks like we're good in the waiting room. So I don't think I'm going to need to share computer sound. Okay. Cool. So you can see this Zoom meeting, right?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. So in this course, in addition to embedding, the other thing we want to talk about is LTI. And I think that we have covered the main difference, but if you haven't fully understood it yet at this point, the main difference is that it will allow you to see the results of what you do in this speed grader. So an LTI connection gives you not just the ability to have students interact with it while they are in the page like embedding does, but also any work they do can go right to SpeedGrader for you. You can assign something as an LTI type of assignment. And so I'll show you what that looks like. We looked through the, sorry, this thing is in my way. You know how it goes. We looked through the requests that you guys had, and there were a handful of things that you guys were asking about. And so I'm gonna try to cover the most important ones. And again, with any questions, we will have the option to go over more at the end, and I'll pause as I cover these. Most LTI integrations are for school-based purchases. And so for most LTI integrations, your ITC may be able to do the installation for your whole school at once. If they can't though, you can do these for yourselves. The one that you absolutely have to do for yourself no matter what is Flipgrid. But I'm gonna start, I'm gonna get there. That's gonna be the third one that I get to. But before we do any LTI integrations at all, I wanna show you something that is not an LTI integration and it's not an embedding thing, but we felt like it belonged in this course because it is frequently asked by everyone, and that's PDF annotation. We don't have a great LTI solution for that, and we don't have a great way you can embed, but we do have a solution. So I want to show you 2 steps, 1 step for you and 1 step that the students can do to annotate on a PDF if you want to create an assignment like that. So even though I'm talking about LTI, put that on hold, and I'm going to show you this. Actually, I hate to do this. Katie, do you mind showing this tool, because we are having a new teacher crisis right now, and I just need like 3 minutes to take care of it.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I stopped sharing, so
yeah.
I'll be right back. I'm so sorry.
This is like, that's totally fine, Biz. It's like the beginning of the school year. We all know how it goes.
How we do it.
All right. So I wasn't prepared to show this, so I'm going to have to find a PDF to show you. But we will be publishing, and I'll just, let's see. At the very bottom of the course, there will be a little section called annotated PDFs, and there will be the teacher videos and the student videos that you will be able to reference. I recommend putting these student videos in any assignment that you will be having students annotate. That way, they will get the experience. And they can see the directions, either how to do it. We have two videos, one to do it on a computer and one to do it on an iPad. So how to do this annotation, because it is a hack. It's not like a real actual thing. So yeah, let's see. How do you put a video in an assignment for a kid? If it's a YouTube video, you just copy the link from YouTube and paste it on the page. If it's a Canvas Studio video, you can add it in by the plugin tool, and I can show you that in a second. So let's see. All right. So if I had something in my Canvas Studio, I would click this little plugin and I would select Canvas Studio and I could add that video from Canvas Studio right there. But that's not what we're doing right now. We're doing PDFs. So if I want to give my kids a PDF assignment, I need to upload the PDF that I want them to annotate. Let's see what PDFs I have available. All right, I don't know what this is. Okay, that looks great. Okay. This is just a student account sheet that I've created for my students at my school. All right, so I would submit that. So there's the PDF, and I'm going to say PDF annotation. I'm going to copy and paste those videos from YouTube that I shared with you right down below it to give them the instructions. I am going to say it's going to be online. It's going to be a file upload, and then I'm going to do the due dates and who it's to. Okay. The most important part is that you are selecting online submission type and file upload, okay? What they are gonna do, I'm gonna save it. When they get this assignment, oh, okay. Is they will basically download the PDF to their computer. So they'll click on it. Oh, let me act as a student. Let's see, publish. Okay. I'm going to add this assignment to the module so that you guys will be able to see it. You can even try it on your own later. So I'm going to add this assignment, PDF annotation, add item. Great. All right, so now it's there. Now I can go into my student view. And I can be a test student. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go down to this assignment. I'm going to go to my PDF assignment. And what your students have to do is actually download the PDF. So click on it, downloads to their computer. It goes right down there in the bottom left corner of Chrome. And then they click Submit Assignment, and they upload that file. So they just drag it, and then they submit the assignment. So you're like, wow, they did nothing. They did not do anything. But this is just the hack. So now they will go back to, let's see, back to the assignment. Let's see. Oh, they're going to go, where did they go? It should say, oh, here we go. Here we go. They go on to, they can click this, the file that they uploaded. Oh, submission details. So sorry, this is like, They click submission details and they click view feedback. And then you'll see that they have the annotation tools in SpeedGrader. So they can comment on their page. They can add text on their page so they can fill in a worksheet-like thing. They can choose different colors of text. They can write with like a pencil. Let's see. It's not writing, I don't know why, but it usually should. They can put a box around something, highlight it, and then leave a comment. And then they've edited their work. The math editor does not work in this PDF notation, no. So it's basically kind of what you're able to do in SpeedGrader, they can do to annotate the page, and then they just close it and you'll see anything that they had left. They don't have to resubmit the assignment, but you could say, hey, I would say in the directions, like add a comment, I completed it, and then say save and resubmit. And then that would let you know that they've totally done the assignment that way. So again, once they submit it, they click submission details and then go into the editing. So it's not a beautiful thing, but it is a thing that works. So, all right. I'm gonna stop and hand it back over to you, Biz.
Okay, I'm back. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah.
A T-spec showed up, so I am officially off the hook for the rest of the session, so I won't do that to you again. But thank you for jumping in. I just mentioned this in the chat, but if you did miss any step of that, we do have videos for what the teacher can do, as well as the student side of it for both computer and iPad that Katie made in the course that we have shared with you. So going back to sharing my screen with you, and can you hear my bells? Okay, so we're gonna start with LTI integrations. If you care about the logistics, LTI means learning tools interoperability. You never need to know that information. I always have to look it up whenever I present on it. But again, it just means that these tools will not only be visible to students like embedding, but you, like the students, don't have to leave Canvas to use them. You can assign them within Canvas. You can grade them within Canvas. Edpuzzle is a great tool if you've never used it. Edpuzzle assigns a video to a student and puts questions in it. You may have seen that Canvas Studio will also do the same thing. So you don't actually need to use Edpuzzle. I like it because it allows you to do different types of questions. You have more options than you do with the Canvas Studio videos. So to integrate any LTI connection, you're gonna start in the course that you are using, and you do have to do this in each individual course, again, unless your ITC does this integration for the entire building. And you're gonna go to that course, scroll down to the bottom and choose settings. And then, you wait for the internet connection to do its thing. And then within settings, the fourth tab over here says apps. And this is where you can see all of the apps that are available for LTI connections. There are so many of them, and most of them are things that we don't use. A lot of them are directed towards colleges and stuff. But everything that we can think of is, again, going to be visible to you in the course. And a few things are already done for you. For example, Office 365 is already integrated for you. So you're going to start by going to apps and then searching here where it says filter by name. You're going to search for the thing that you want to integrate. So I'm going to search for Edpuzzle. And as soon as I start typing, it pops up. And I'm going to click Edpuzzle. And then it tells me what Edpuzzle is here. And then if I click on plus add app, it's going to ask me for this consumer key and shared secret. And this is the kind of the kicker. Any LTI integration is always going to ask you for this, and you have to find it in a different place for each app. So if there's anything that you ever want to do an LTI integration for that we don't have time to cover today, my suggestion is if you Google Edpuzzle LTI, Nearpod LTI, any of these things will tell you how to find the consumer key and shared secret. I had never heard of these things before Canvas. It's a Canvas specific thing. So for Edpuzzle, the way you get that is you go over to your Edpuzzle account. You make sure that you are logged in. And then if you go to your profile over here, and you go to your name, then it's under school, all the way down at the bottom. So again, I chose school up here, and all the way down at the bottom, LMS LTI integration. You choose your LMS. Ours is obviously Canvas. And there it is. Here's your consumer key and shared secret. And all you have to do is click copy, go back to your Canvas course and paste. Same thing, copy, go back to your Canvas course and paste. No, but you want to paste in the right place. And then click add app. And you'll see a little check mark, the app was successfully added. If I click refresh right now, the way I know that it was really successful is that I will see Edpuzzle appear over in my course navigation on the left. One great thing about Edpuzzle is I think it used to be that you had to have a paid account to do an LTI integration, but I learned yesterday that you can do this even with a free account. My school doesn't pay for Edpuzzle, but I was able to do this LTI integration with my free account. And there's Edpuzzle on the left. The first time that you're using something that has LTI integration, you're going to have to log in. So I'm going to click on Edpuzzle. And wait patiently. And I'm logged in already, but now I have to set up my class for this. And again, you will have to do this for each course because it's going to create a course for you. So I'm going to say, okay, I want to create a class. And now I have a class, and this class is going to be visible to me in Edpuzzle as well as in Canvas. So if I go back to Edpuzzle, I can see my classes. And now I have a class specifically for our Canvas intermediate. So anything that I integrate over here will become a class that's named over here in my Edpuzzle classes. And so the benefit of integrating is not the actual act of doing the integration, but instead it is to create an assignment that has Edpuzzle in it. So what you'll do with that, and again, this is what you'll do with any LTI integration. If you go to assignments, and then you click plus assignment. I'm going to say Edpuzzle LTI example assignment. I can give any directions I want my students to follow here. Watch the video and make sure you answer all questions. I can assign it a specific amount of points, set my assignment type, summative, or assignment group to summative formative, and then the LTI magic happens here in submission type. Instead of online, I'm going to choose external tool, and then I'm going to click the find button. And anything that I have integrated in this course is going to be visible to me here. And so in this case, we're looking at Edpuzzle. And because I'm already logged in and I have this set up for my class, it's going to bring up my examples of Edpuzzle videos. So if I use this one right here, I can pull that up. And I can preview it again, remind myself of what the questions are in here, and I can click assign. I want to make sure that my students can't prevent skipping. We have to watch the whole thing. I can choose whether or not to leave the closed captioning on. I say leave it on and click assign. There we go. And it doesn't look like anything happens, but once I then click select, you can see that this URL has changed to the LTI magic. I set all my assignment preferences here. And then if I click save and publish, I'll show you what it looks like from my viewpoint, and then I'll put this in a module so that you can see what it looks like in your assignment. But here's my directions. And then that whole, again, as the teacher, I can see what's happening here, but you as a student will actually see the video and be able to interact with it right here. So it looks just like it's embedded, but the difference is as you respond to those questions, those will go into my gradebook. So any questions about that?
Oh, I have a question about Edpuzzle and it's being put in Canvas. If students do it in Canvas, does it also show you in your Edpuzzle account that students have used it?
Yeah, you should still be able to, is that, shoot, I think so. Is that right, Katie? You can see the results in Edpuzzle as well as Canvas, right?
Yeah.
You're on mute.
If you're familiar with Edpuzzle, the grading flow is still similar. You will be able to do the grading right here on this screen, actually.
Cool, thank you so much.
Yep. And you will have to do the grading here on, like, so especially if it's the free response questions, you will still need to go back and grade those by hand, and then it will calculate the total grade for SpeedGrader.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah.
I was curious, will kids need to still use their separate login for Edpuzzles if you integrate it, or will it go straight from Canvas?
No, one really great thing about LTI integration is that they do have to log in the first time they use it, but then that login sticks with them. So if they log into Edpuzzle one time, that's done then for their whole Canvas identity, and they'll have to do it once. So you might have to walk them through it one time, but after that, they're done. That's going to be true with anything you do with Office 365 or Google. So one thing that I would suggest for like your first week of virtual teaching is spending a little bit of time making sure that they're logged into those accounts right away so that then it's done. Katie, you got anything else for me? I don't know if you said anything, but you're on mute.
No, that's it. But someone actually did ask a really good question I think we should address.
Yeah.
Can you see the student version in Student View for LTIs?
No, almost never, because what they require an account to be tied to them, LTIs do, which means that if you looked at the student view, which isn't a real human being, you won't see it. I know somebody asked in the chat if we can look at what an Office 365 assignment looks like from the SpeedGrader, and I can show you that. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is add to this LTI examples module, I'll add that assignment that I just created. So if you wanna see what that looks like from the student view, you can do that. Should be published. It's right there at the bottom, and I'll put it in a more logical place later on, but I want to make sure that you can see that view from the student viewpoint. Are we ready to move on to Nearpod?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, awesome. Nearpod, cannot stress this enough. This is something that only works if your school pays for it. And otherwise, you can still use that embedding option that Katie showed. However, as schools continue to sign up for it, I hear about another school deciding to buy it just about every day. So if this is you, again, I would suggest talking to your ITC about doing this integration for you so that you don't have to do it. However, if you need to, Nearpod is a little different with the integration. You can't find the integration in your account. You do need to be signed into Nearpod. And then you're gonna go to this nearpod.com/LMS-integration. To be honest, I don't know this link by heart. Again, if you type in Nearpod LTI, this will be the first hit that comes back to you in Google. And you'll notice it says, here's all the stuff Nearpod can do. And the big blue button here says generate consumer key plus shared secret. So as soon as I click that button, again, I do have to be logged into my school account. Otherwise, this would not work for me. It gives me that consumer key and shared secret. And I'm going to show you once again, just so we have that stuck in our head about how to integrate an LTI. I go to settings. I go to apps, which I'm already at. I search for the app that I'm looking for, and then I click plus app, and I can copy and paste this consumer key here, and this shared secret here, and click Add App. I see that it's successfully installed, and if I refresh, I find Nearpod now down here. Once again, I have to go to Nearpod, and it's going to connect to my account. You'll also notice that along this, as this loads up, you'll notice that the students also see this. I can choose to hide this in the navigation. If the students were to click just on the Nearpod tab, if you leave this open to them in the course navigation, it would take them to an automatic live lesson. They would just be at that, give us a code, and you could give them a live lesson thing there. So if you are in a situation where you are on Zoom and students are able to be in a Nearpod as well, you can say, okay, go to Canvas and go to the Nearpod section and put in this code. So they don't have to go to Nearpod to log in. So I'm just gonna one time say, yes, I understand this is gonna be tied to my account now. Even though Katie and I are both instructors here, I own the Nearpod of this. And then it's just gonna ask me to log in the way I always log into Nearpod, which I think for many of us will be with either our Office 365 or our Google accounts. If you're not sure how, definitely talk to your ITC. It's gonna be Office 365 probably for most people. It logs me in, and then whenever I go to that Nearpod tab, I'll just see my whole library.
I just want to jump in and also, you will not see this in your sandbox if your ITC has not added your sandbox to your school's domain. So all of those sandboxes that were just recently made over the summer, you may need to reach out to your ITC if they've installed these tools to ask them to add your sandbox to the domain.
Yeah, that's really true. I haven't even added all of the sandboxes to my school domain yet. So definitely, if your ITC hasn't done it, just give them a quick heads up that you'd like to make sure that it's in the right subdomain. Especially if they're telling you, oh yeah, I already added Nearpod for you, and you don't see it, it's probably in the wrong subdomain. Okay, so again, to do an assignment, you'll go to assignments to create a new assignment. You have to be able to find assignments first. And it's going to be the same thing we did with Ed Puzzle. Click plus assignment. Give it a name. Thank you. Any directions that you want to put in here, your submission type is external tool. Click find. And this menu is always changing as you integrate. And you should see Nearpod in here eventually. They're in alphabetical order. Am I missing it? All right, that might just be because I just did it. Let me cancel and refresh that. So again, I click find. There it is. Here's Nearpod. It's going to take me right into my library of all of my lessons. Here's a lesson on using Nearpod. I'm going to click student paste and select. Do all of my details and click save. And you also have to give it a name. Hi. That's the problem with being at school, right? And there's the Nearpod assignment. Again, I can add that to a module for you so you can see it from the student point of view. But you'll see is and I love this. I love this. When students log in, their name is there already for them. So they're going to put their correct name in without even trying. Katie, as I add this to the module so people can see it from the student point of view, are there any questions that I should address?
I think just maybe addressing that maybe they won't see something if their ITC is installed it, if it, like from the course navigation, they may need to drag it up. in their course navigation, like the Zoom, you know, so always go to your course. Maybe you could show them that, going to the settings of the course and then just checking to see if it's there.
Yeah, I'll show you exactly how to do that. Okay, so again, back in your course settings. Course settings are amazing, by the way. There's so much you can do there. You know, you think of settings as something you could set and forget. But if you go to the navigation tab right here next to apps, things that are added might automatically be down here in this grayed out thing. So if we have hidden Clever here because we don't think you need to be able to get to Clever. But if I just drag that up, Clever will be added to the navigation where you can see it. So it's really easy to just add those very quickly. So do make sure that if it's not integrated for you or you think it's not, this would be a great first place to check. I think Zoom gets added and sort of hidden down there. So if you don't see Zoom in Canvas, I would say definitely check that out as well. When you're done, please don't forget to click Save down at the bottom. That happens a lot. Is that good? Katie, any other questions?
Yeah, I think we're good.
Awesome. Let's talk about Flipgrid, because that is one that no one can do for you. You have to do it individually for each one of your classes. So again, I'm going to walk you through just the integration part because you do have to do this, but it should start to feel familiar. In settings, you go to apps, you search for the app that you want. I want Flipgrid. I click add app, and Flipgrid is a little bit like Edpuzzle. You're going to go to your Flipgrid account and you're going to go to your little guy up here with the sunglasses on, and it gives you this small menu. With Flipgrid, you are going to just go to integrations right here. And you can see that I've already integrated Flipgrid into 2 different courses. So anything that you've already integrated here is going to be here. The reason you have to do it separately in each class is every time you connect to a class, it gives you a different consumer key and a different shared secret. So if you click Add New Integration, I'm going to name this the Embedding and LTI course. You want to make it match as closely as possible to the course that you're teaching, and click Create. And now I have my consumer key and my shared secret. So I can copy my consumer key, go back to my course to paste it in, and then I can go back to Flipgrid. Oh, shoot. You ever have that happen where you try to click a tab, but you stop sharing your screen? The Zoom struggle is real. Go back to copy my shared secret, back to here, and click Add App, and I have seen it successfully installed, and that's how you integrate Flipgrid. I can't stress it enough. You have to do it for every class if you want to use Flipgrid. If I go back to assignments now, again, it starts to feel really familiar. Once you learn the process of adding an LTI integration, it feels the same every time, because it really is the same every time. I'll click Add Assignment. I'll click Flipgrid example. I'll capitalize it correctly. Didn't like that. I just put any directions that I want to put here. I make sure my submission type is an external tool. I click Find and hope I was fast enough. Yep, there it is. There's Flipgrid. I click Select. And then I'm going to save and publish it. And what this is going to do is it's actually going to make me a blank grid for this class. So any topics that I want to put into Flipgrid are going to be on this one grid that goes to this group of students. So if I click Create a Course Group now, and then this is the kind of stuff the first time you're going to do it, you see it. It gets easier every time after this. So it says it's going to make a new topic for this assignment, and students can submit videos. They'll automatically show in SpeedGreeter. So right now I have a blank topic. technically my students could go ahead and respond to this blank topic, but I also can then just choose to edit it here. I can add a topic focus. I can change my instructions. I think for my purposes, I actually usually go back and edit this in Flipgrid. I think it's a little easier to go back to that Flipgrid, go back to my own topics and groups. And here's my Canvas topic that I just put together. And now I can, in here, I can edit this. And I think that's a little easier. It just feels a little more comfortable if you're a Flipgrid user to be able to edit all this stuff back in Flipgrid. As you edit it here, it'll still show up. Any edits you make here will happen for your students in Canvas. So this gives me this automatically assigned thing, which is no fun. Oh, can I not edit it here? I swear I've done this before. Yeah, okay, there we go. Thought I was crazy. Okay. Which do you prefer? LTI or embedding, and why? And then I can choose all of these other important things. I always recommend with Flipgrid to have your video moderation on, just so you get a chance to see what students submitted before they see what each other submitted. I trust you guys, you're adults, so I'm gonna leave it off if you wanna play around with it. So I update it there. I'm not gonna do a whole Flipgrid class, but there are Flipgrid classes currently available that talk about using Flipgrid in Canvas that you can sign up for in the professional development catalog. So I want to make sure that you know that you can learn lots more about Flipgrid. It's an amazing tool. If you've never played with Flipgrid, I can't tell you, it is worth all of your time to learn how to do it. I would say it's one of the best tools that we have in technology right now. So Katie, what questions are there?
I think I'm getting it. There was just some questions about things that are in Clever, and will we still be using Clever? And the answer is yes. For those apps that are in Clever, until they've moved them over, you will continue to use Clever.
Yeah, things cannot coexist in Clever and Canvas. It creates a real mess, I guess, on the back end. So if you've had something that you've accessed before, like my school uses BrainPop through Clever, that's going to stay in Clever.
Is there a Flipgrid? Yeah, there's a Flipgrid sessions that are in the ERO right now for just about Flipgrid. Yep. WellNet will continue to go through Clever. Yeah.
Yep. I don't think anything is moving out of Clever.
I don't think so either.
Is that safe to say? I think in a year we may see things start to move out of Clever. I'd love to see, for example, Khan Academy move out of Clever and into Canvas. You can do a lot of great things with Khan Academy, and if you could just have them directly in Canvas, that'd make life even easier.
I think for the things that are in Clever, the best thing to do is just add a redirect link to Clever in your course navigation, and maybe you want to show them that biz.
Yeah.
And just that would be the best way to direct people to the Clever apps.
So yeah, for the Clever apps, or for really anything that doesn't embed beautifully or that just doesn't have an LTI integration, you want to use that redirect tool. So if you haven't seen that, again, we're going back to our favorite place, the settings. And we're even going to go back to the apps tab right here. And it's going to sort of feel like an LTI integration because you use the same space, but you're looking for a tool called redirect. And it's this lovely blue arrow. And so it says it's an app. I feel like that's kind of a confusing thing to say. It really is just a hyperlink that you are adding to your course navigation here. So if I click add app, I'm going to give that a name. We already have Clever's already there for you from the county. I believe the county pushed this redirect app to everyone. One thing I just did for my school was I added a dictionary. We have a lot of foreign language speakers, and so we wanted to make sure we gave them some resources that are just consistently available in all of their classes. So you might add dictionary here. And then you would take your URL redirect. So if I had, we can say, I'm gonna do dictionary because again, Clever's already there. So if I want to use just a dictionary here from Google, here's dictionary.com. I can copy that link address directly to dictionary.com and go back here and just make sure you get rid of that HTTPS that's already there. Paste in your link. It won't work if you have two HTTPS://. And then you have the option to force it open in a new tab or not. For accessibility reasons, say that you should force it open in a new tab. I believe if you uncheck this box, oh wait, no, accessibility says you shouldn't put it in a new tab. I just like it in a new tab. Accessibility says you should leave everything in the same tab. You definitely want to make sure that it is shown in course navigation, and you can ignore the other two. So make sure this one is definitely checked. And then depending on how you want it to work and accessibility reasons, you may choose to force it open in a new tab. If I click Add App, and then click Refresh so I can see the results of my actions. Now my refresh thing has down here at the bottom, dictionary. And if I go to that tab, again, it's not a tool. I'm not connecting it to an account like an LTI. It's just going to give me that website right there for me. Without leaving Canvas. It's a little harder to use because it's in there. So, and, oh, okay, there's a thesaurus too. So that's the redirect tool. Katie, anything else?
Yeah, for Cheryl, anything in Clever, you're just going to want to do that redirect process that she just showed to Clever. So and you're just going to want to make one Clever link, and that's it. And again, I think that's something your ITC can definitely help you with and should help you with.
I think it's already done. I think it's done for the whole county.
Oh,
Am
is
I
it
wrong?
now?
Yeah, like I know I didn't do it.
All right, so take a look
but
in your courses, and everyone should see a Clever link then.
Yeah,
Oh,
like it's
done.
here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the county pushed that one out.
Okay,
because
I had
so
done
many
it
of
for
us
my
used it.
staff way back in the spring, and then yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So now we have two, I guess. All right.
And again, that's where going to your course navigation settings and hiding things or showing them is going to be really useful to you. Anything else? We still have a little over 10 minutes if people want to see any other embedding or LTI integrations, but those are the big ones that I wanted to make sure that we hit.
Nope, that's good. That's it. You're good. I got everything.
Okay, awesome. Were there any other requests you guys have specifically about LTI or embedding, like any examples that you wanted to see?
I'm going to go ahead and drop the attendance link.
That's great.
So you can either refresh your course and you'll see an attendance assignment, or I will put the attendance link into the chat. But this way, you know, if you feel like you got what you needed, you can go. And if you want to stay for the bonus Q&A, just please raise your hand and we'll call on you for that.
As Katie goes through that, I'm just looking at what's in the chat. Oh, I can stop sharing my screen. I'm looking at the chat and I'm seeing a lot of questions about different types of assignments. So the vocabulary is through Clever. So you can get through, if you have a special vocabulary subscription separate from Nearpod, you can get to that through Clever. If you have vocabulary tied on to your Nearpod subscription, that you will only connect to vocabulary through Nearpod, but there is no connection that way. Crystal Kahoot, no, not Crystal, whoever asked. Somebody asked about Kahoot, Nicholas asked about Kahoot. We do have instructions for Kahoot in the course. And I think Katie might be able to model that.
Yeah.
Google Assignments.
And I'm gonna just make everything live now so you can see everything we have in the course.
Google Assignments, we're working on getting that integrated. That's going to be a trickier integration and not one that you are able to do, but we're looking at it at the district level.
And I do have an example for GimKit. Yeah, so you'll see those directions in the course.
If you actually, somebody asked if you could start building your courses. You are not able to create courses. You will have courses with students already in them, which sync with the hub populated for you. And so neither you nor the ITC has control over that. You just want to keep working on your sandbox for now.
Yeah, build your content in your sandbox. You'll be able to copy it over.
Mm-hmm. Laura, we are not planning on ever deleting your access to this course. So enjoy it. Please feel free to use it as a reference whenever. We know that we can't teach you every single thing that's in it. I can't even tell you how many hours Katie has spent making sure that everything she can think of to embed is in there. So we wanted to give you this as a long-term resource. The Gainesville question, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
That's more for our reference. Sorry. Wow, thanks for your nice words, everyone. I'm looking for questions, but it's just nice compliments. Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So earlier on, you guys said something about when, like, you're doing a Nearpod, you might have them answer in a text saying, I've completed the assignment.
Yeah.
Would you do that like in a discussion post or something? Like, where would that?
So you would choose submission type, online response, and you would choose the text box, text entry.
Let me show you. I think it'll be easier to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to share again. Screen.
Have a great day, guys. Feel free to stay if you have questions, but otherwise, have a great day.
As long as you've taken care of that attendance form,
yeah,
you're good to go.
Don't cry, call them crying to us later. We have no control.
Yeah, we don't have
You're
any
doing
record.
this again on Friday, is that correct?
Yep, same thing though,
Same session.
nothing different.
Right, I'm recommending it for someone else.
Oh, okay, yep, Friday,
Okay,
12:30.
I told you, wait 1 minute.
It'll be the two of us, same exact content. Okay, so if I was embedding a Nearpod, not giving it as an assignment, or not using an LTI integration, but I wanted to really make sure my students knew that they were being held accountable to completing this. I'm going to go over here back to assignments. And then when I click plus assignment, I will wait. I give it that name, Nearpod assignment. And then my instructions will be something along the lines of complete this Nearpod and then submit text letting me know that you have finished it. And then I'm going to use that embed code. I'll embed the Nearpod there, but it's not an assignment until I choose a submission type. And here's what I would say. Your submission type should be online. Just give them text entry. And then when you click save, they'll just have a place where they can type into the rich content editor, hey, Mrs. Teacher, I did the Nearpod. You might even give them a follow-up question, like an exit ticket type of question. After viewing this Nearpod, what did you think about blah? So that would be another way you could do it. But this gives them that I know I'm turning something in feeling, if that makes sense. And it's easy for you to then put a grade back to it. If
And even more precisely in those directions, I would say complete this Nearpod, then click the green submit button at the top, because the button is, most people's blue, the blue submit this assignment button at the top, and then fill in the word complete. It's kind of tricky because the submit button's not at the bottom of the page where you think it might be after you're done with an assignment. It's at the top of the page.
Yeah.
You're suggesting to do the text box.
I'm sorry, I just had a quick question. When they submit via text, does it come to my phone?
No, it's a text entry. It's just Words.
Okay.
It's not,
okay.
not a SMS, not a
I got it.
single
Thank you.
message. Yeah.
Okay.
It'll just be like this, and the only place it'll go is to your speed grader, or the only way it would go to your phone is if you had the Canvas Teacher app on your phone. Some people really like that. Some people think it's terrible, and I respect your boundaries regardless.
Diana, Seesaw does not integrate. So students, I believe you guys still use Clever to get to Seesaw. You will still use Clever to get to Seesaw.
Thank you, ladies. You were very helpful.
Yeah,
Can
sure,
I
no
ask-
problem.
Can I expound upon accessibility just for a second?
Okay.
If students are replying that they completed something and you said by text, can we click both text and audio in case students have to respond that way?
Sure, totally.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, before when you were showing us the text entry for the Nearpod assignment, that's only if your school does not have the paid version, right?
Correct.
Otherwise, it would go through SpeedGrader, right?
Correct.
Great.
Otherwise, you do external tool.
You guys, this was amazing. I'm going to go. Thank you so much. This was fantastic. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we
Tell
love
our
this
boss.
content, so glad you were, yeah, right? So
It looks
sorry.
like Jessica, you have a question. Go ahead. Her hand's up.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see the hands. Oh,
I was clapping.
Oh.
Aw.
Oh no, not
I
you.
was
It's
the
a
one
different
that asked the
Jessica.
question.
It's a different Jessica. I get that all the time. I'm a Katie, so there's always 100 of us. Go ahead, Jessica H.
I already asked my question.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
Lower
putting
your hand.
yeah, there.
And Tanisha.
Hi, sorry, I think you touched on this a little bit with like Google Slides and Google Assignments. Because I noticed for the attendance you pushed out the Google Forms in the chat. Are we able to embed a Google form as an assignment, or would we have to do it like you did and push it out through a chat?
You can, so on the page, there is an embedded Google form, and then you would do that same thing kind of with the embedded Nearpod, add a text box, and then have them just say completed.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, so if you've been using Google Forms for years, you don't have to remake all of those, that's fine. Just use them, and then just know you have to hand transfer the grades.
Okay. Thank you.
Can you remove a redirect? No, you cannot remove it, but you can hide it. So you would just drag it down in your course navigation.
All right, ladies, great job. Thank you. Have a good morning.
All right, you too.
You
Can I ask a question about?
If you don't see your name in your school's name, just pick a school. It doesn't really matter to us. Your personal name is the most important, but we don't want to hear you crying that you didn't fill in the attendance. So please fill it in. It will close at 10:15. Go ahead, Robin.
I have a question about AP Classroom and that being a a tool that a lot of us are going to be using because they've ramped it up since of COVID. Do you have any recommendations about embedding that as opposed to having it pop up in a new screen?
I would just create a redirect tool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Stephanie, I'm looking at your comment. That happened to me when you paste that in. If you forget to delete the HTTPS text that's already there, you might get that gray sad face screen. So make sure that don't just paste, but delete anything that's already in the box.
Right. So I did that, and I actually tried it with two different sites. I tried the Collins Dictionary, and then I also tried just dictionary.com since you were successful with that, and I got the sad face screen both times. So I don't know what might be happening. I just copy and pasted from like the I don't know what you call that, where you type those. Yes. Is that where I should be copying it from or no?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll keep playing around with it. But
yeah, it sounds like you're doing it right. You might want to ask Canvas support about it. That's
okay. Because I only asked because that's also the same gray sad face screen that my ITC and my coworkers get when I tried to embed my PowerPoint that I'm still very sad doesn't embed. So I thought maybe there was just something wrong with my Canvas, and that's why nothing was working, but I will reach out to them.
A question that I got that actually in private that actually is a good question is, can I make this stuff in the sandbox and transfer it over? For the most part, yes, but you will have to redo like the external tool selection in the assignment in your in your Rail courses to just set that up. So you can make the assignment in your sandbox, like draft it, put all the directions and everything, but then when you copy it over, redo the external tool connection part.
So, but when you have your real classes are in there and you add the external tool, it goes to all the courses, or do you?
Right, so that's the part you'll do after so you can make the assignment, just type the description and stuff, and then after you've copied it over, you'll click that external tool part and set that part up.
And then it will apply to all the courses that are.
No, it'll apply to that one single course.
Okay.
What you're ideally going to be doing is cross-listing your courses, which is something you can basically, anything that's the same content, you can bring them into one course.
And that's another PD.
Yeah.
I'm having issues embedding PowerPoint as well. Is there like a better alternative for the PowerPoints?
If the PowerPoint is designed just to like show the content in a good looking way, that's well, like that's pretty and well presented, you could download all of the PowerPoint slides as images, and those images would be embeddable. You'd have to make sure they had alt text as well. So that's something to consider as a possibility.
And can't you take those images from PowerPoint and then upload them to Nearpod as well, and then make it a Nearpod?
Yeah, that would be a really good way.
If you have Nearpod, that's much easier. In fact, you don't even have to download to images. When you start a Nearpod presentation, you can just pull a PowerPoint into it, and it'll do all those slides for you.
So I teach middle school, so they do a lot of guided notes, and so my hang up right now is that they use the PowerPoints. Like I use the PowerPoints and they have the guided notes, and that's what I am not wrapping my head around of how I can recreate. Like what tools, if I can recreate that at all, or if I just have to come up with like something else.
I've done this before. I just like we said just a couple minutes ago that take my PowerPoints and I just upload them into Nearpod and use Nearpod instead, but it's the same kind of format. So
right, I get the Nearpod part. What do you have the kids do? Because they're not just gonna, they're 13. They're not just gonna sit there and follow along blindly. And even if I put stuff in it, they're gonna need more than that.
So is this something you'd be doing live with them?
Probably.
Then I would say share your PowerPoint through Zoom, like share your screen with a PowerPoint on it, and that'll work beautifully. As they're taking their notes, you can be talking them through that with a PowerPoint displayed. And then you can also, it doesn't have to be embedded, but you can attach the PowerPoint as a link that they can still reference. It just won't have the same beautiful embeddedness that it would have in Canvas.
Okay, thank you.
So I have another question since we're kind of on this PowerPoint thing. The purpose of the file I was trying to embed was not so much for just like pretty content related slides. We use like a super improvers chart at my school, which is like a whole brain teaching thing. But the nice part about embedding it was any updates I made on the file showed. It was like a live connection where I did not need to retake pictures of slides or, re-upload a link every time. There's just no way to do that in PowerPoint or with the tools we have in Microsoft that you can think of.
Katie?
I'm wondering if you can do it in Google Sheets.
If you're not a Google school, you can't use Google.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, do not use a personal Google account with students ever.
And I don't like, I understand that. I don't need the kids to be able to click on it or edit it or make their own version or be able to submit it. It was literally, it's kind of just like a live bulletin board. That's what I was trying to
I understand, but
create. So
just, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, the PowerPoint embedding is not as nice as it should be.
Yeah. We've made people aware of that. We hope that there will be a resolution. Like there's something that's messed up there and it theoretically can be fixed, but we don't have any ETA on that.
If we're creating something new, like not to use an old PowerPoint, but if we were creating something new in Canvas and, you know, like guided notes, like the other teacher said, could we just use something in Word and then put it in a page? I mean, or just write it in Canvas on a page, create something where they fill in the blanks. That's in Canvas, right? That's embedded already. Not embedded, that's part of like a page, right?
If you want them to fill in the blanks, your best tool is actually going to be the quiz tool in Canvas. It has fill in the blank type questions. And that's going to, and as long as you play around with it first, it's great. I would just, with the fill in the blanks in Canvas, if you're going to grade it, just be careful that, because like it's very particular about how they fill it in. So I like with the fill in the blank type questions, I like using the drop down menu option. If it's ungraded though, just have them fill it in.
Right, like, thank you. Drop ungraded, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a general question because this class was kind of hard. I had the Let's Grow with Canvas. Brian Simpson's our ITC, so at Bevel we know what we're doing, but maybe I don't know. But some of it was over my head. But then I, like Flipgrid, I know that because I teach ESOL, you know, ALS. What do you recommend is next? Like, I mean, I'm not a complete beginner in Canvas, but some of the stuff you guys were saying at the beginning was a little hard. Is that going to happen next Monday? They're going to tell us all this stuff that we're going to sign up for.
I think you would talk to Brian about that. Like he'll know what's specific to your school. I'm sure every ITC is planning specific stuff at their school. I know at my school I'm planning things for people at various levels. Mm-hmm. So you'll probably still have some good options that you know, I think Brian probably best knows where the staff is at and how to help them and give them the next thing they need.
Okay, thank you.